Hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. How is it going? We are live. If you can hear me, type loud and clear. Let me just start. Great. Awesome. Hello, good evening. Once again, welcome to the Facebook page and YouTube channel on Daily People Skills. My name is Eunice Tan. I'm an entrepreneur, speaker, and trainer. Let us know where are you watching this from. And once again, welcome to our weekly Facebook Live sessions where we share our experiences when dealing with people and the mistakes we made, and of course, many of the hot tips and solutions we use in our daily lives. Now, many people think people skills is just about EQ, communication skills, leadership skills, but people skills go much, much beyond that. At the bottom line, it is about who you really, really are. Because before you can manage anyone, you must first manage yourself. And it is also one of the skills that will never be replaced by technology and artificial intelligence. More about that later on, right? So before we jump into today's topic, let us know where are you watching this from. Are you watching it from Singapore or overseas? And if you're watching this from overseas, let us know which country, what's the time zone, and what's the situation over there. Are you guys still in the lockdown situation, or you can go back to work now? Or if you are watching from Singapore, have you had your dinner, or are you having dinner as you watch this? So type it in the comment box. Let us know. Let us know. Right. So let's jump right into today's topic. I like to start my session on time. Right. So today's topic is on something that is very misunderstood by many people, as they think that it is a characteristic that you are born with, right? And which is not is necessarily true. So let me ask you something. Have you ever realized that you gave up too early and missed out precious opportunities? Have you ever envied others for having the tenacity to keep on going, even though it was so hard? Have you ever wished that you had the same level of perseverance? Yes, perseverance, one of the common characteristics of well-known celebrities and those who are successful and those who achieve their goals. So how can you increase your level of perseverance? So yes, today we are going to talk about how to become a person with that kind of tenacity that you will not give up until you reach your goals. If you think you know something about this topic, you might be in for some surprises. By the end of this session, I want you to be able to flip your mind, change your mind, and start looking at things from a very different perspective. So watch to the end as we explore what is perseverance, look at why do people give up, how do we increase our level of perseverance. So let's get started for today. Right, let me show the screen. Now, what is this perseverance, right? What is perseverance? Now, some people call this tenacity, determination, grit, G-R-I-T even. Now, whatever it is, they all have something common among them, right? And let me show you what is it. Now, they all have common in the sense that keep on keeping on, right? And they press on you regardless of obstacles, and they find different ways to resolve the obstacles. We'll talk about obstacle a little bit later on, right? But the thing about perseverance is that it is. You just keep on pressing on, left foot forward, right foot forward, step by step, day by day, bit by bit, right? And when you meet an obstacle, you just find a different way of solving the problem, right? This method doesn't work, you find another method. That method doesn't work, you work and you find a third method, and so on and so forth. And you just keep improving and improving. We'll talk a little bit about that later on as well, right? Now, why do people give up? Now, before we talk about how to develop and increase the level of perseverance, we just talk about why do people give up first. Why do you give up? Why do I give up? Like there are many, many times where I really, there are certain things I start and I just give up halfway, or I didn't finish the whole thing and all, right? So let's explore some of the reasons why people give up, right? Now, first and foremost, too hard. Yes, sometimes it's when it gets too hard, right? We just give up because it's just we don't see it impossible to do it. So that's why you find that it's really too hard for us to go on, right? That's why the saying, right, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going, right? Because it's tough, right? I understand that. I totally get it. So, going to the gym, waking up at 5 a.m. to go morning exercise, to instead of spending time in front of the TV, and you start working on your side hustle, and start working on your business, and all this, it can be really, really hard. Or you go on a diet. For those who love food like I do, right? Sometimes it can be very hard to go on a diet, even though we know that we should lose some weight or watch our diet, don't eat something so unhealthy and all. But sometimes it really, really, it's not really that easy in that sense. But take a step back. Is it really too hard? Or is it just out of our comfort zone? Because we are not used to it. We are so used to what we are doing. We are in our comfort zone. And sometimes when we do something different, that's when we find that it's an uphill task and we find it so, so difficult, right? It's a muscle that we don't really use. That's why you find that it's very painful and it's just not possible. And you start thinking, how can anyone do this, right? So sometimes it's not necessarily it's too hard. It's just that sometimes it's out of our comfort zone. And we are using muscles that we never used before. And that's why it feels so hard. If you go to the gym, and if you engage a personal trainer, right, you know what they are like, right? They are like, what do you call that? They from hell, they are devils, and they keep pushing you, to push you and to do it one more time, right? So sometimes it may not be that it's too hard, but it's just that it's out of our comfort zone, right? And sometimes, in talking about comfort zone, right, sometimes it's because we don't want to take the risk, right? So and we find that it is too hard because we are in a comfy zone, we have a comfortable job, we have a high paying job, and we don't want to risk it all. So we find that it's really too hard, and for me to give up my cushy job to start a business, I think it's or move to another country to start all over again. It can be very, very difficult, and it can be a very high risk to some people, right? So that's why you find that it's just not possible. Some people wonder, right, when I told people, like, when I went overseas to do my law degree, I only have finances. I only have enough for the first year. And a lot of people would have given up, right? But I didn't. So because I just believe that, one day, a bit by bit, day by day, I will find, pound by pound. And at that point of time is one is to 2.6. My you is $2.6 to £1, right? So it's not that easy, and a lot of people don't want to take that kind of risk because I could have stayed in Singapore and develop my career and all, but I decided to just pack my bag and go overseas to start everything anew, right? Just to pursue the dreams I have, to pursue what I want in life, right? And so we'll talk a little bit about how to develop that, how I overcome that later on as well, right? And also another thing about too hard is also in the sense that you underestimated other commitments. So for example, some people want to start, they have a job, right? But they want to start their own business. So they start a business on a part-time on the side. Now they forgot they have so it's so common, right? They have underestimated other form of commitments. So for example, if you have a family and you have kids, right, you need to allocate time to them, but they forgot about this. And they also forgotten that they need to let their body rest. You can't keep after the job, and they want to work on the weekend. That's fine, that's great, and we advocate that as well. But you must not underestimate your other form of commitments to you, especially to your loved ones, right? So when that happens, they find that they are being torn all over the place. You're like, the octopus, they are being torn, being pulled apart. They feel that they have to split themselves, and they just, it gets so overwhelming and gets too hard, right? Overwhelming is the word, and they get burnout as well, right? We'll talk about that later on as well. Okay, so in this sense, right? So people perceive it as it's too hard. Going to the gym is too hard. Losing weight is too hard. Starting the business is too hard. So that's why. But sometimes take a step back. It may not be it's because of too hard, but because it's out of our comfort zone. Right. Another reason why people find it that why people give up is because it's taking too long. Yes, sometimes we keep on pressing on, we keep on going. Yes, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and before you know it, it's 10 years. right? And it's taking too long now. And you wonder whether is it going to happen, or you start to thinking, oh, what's going on? What happened? Where did I go wrong, right? So sometimes people give up because it's taking too long before they can see any fruits, any results, right? And that brings me to the next point, which is doubts kick in, right? And you start to doubt yourself whether did you get it right the first place? Maybe you're not meant to be. Maybe you don't have what it takes to start a business. Maybe you don't have what it takes to pursue that deal, go or that promotion, or whatever it is, or your dream, your passion, whatever it is, right? You start to doubt yourself whether can you do it? Do you have what it takes to make it? Right. And also because sometimes along the way, you also have made mistakes and you have failures. You experience failures, right? So-called failures. Now, the thing is that a lot of us, we have mistaken the real purpose of mistakes and failures. I have to put this in at this point of time, right? Mistakes and failures are not there, are there, right? The real purpose of mistakes and failures are there to teach us a lesson, to learn what works and what doesn't work. Einstein said this, right? He when he invented the light bulb, after 10,000 ways, I always like to tell this story because it's so inspiring. After 10,000 ways of 10,000 ways of inventing the light bulb, which don't work, right? And then finally he found a way to get the light bulb going. Now, when he was interviewed, when the newspaper interviewed him and asked him, how do you feel about the 10,000 failures? And he said that, no, it's not 10,000 failures. It's 10,000 ways of not working, making it work. That's all. It's just learning lessons. So you have to start looking at mistakes and failures as learning lessons, and start asking yourself, what did you learn, right? And what can be improved from there. We'll talk about this later on, yeah? Okay, so don't doubt yourself in that sense in terms of capability and your ability, because you have improved unknowingly. Now, for those who want to start your businesses, right? And I always say this, sometimes, even the best of us, the best businessmen you can think of, the self-made millionaires, right? They will tell you some of their businesses, and, we only hear the successful business ventures that they have, but we don't hear the failures that they have taken, and, we never hear about that. And we hear all this overnight success, but there's no overnight success. There's 10,000 overnights of failures, right? That we don't hear of. Just look at this there's some one of the apps, well, I can't remember now, but one of the apps is just so Candy Crush, that's it, right? It was so famous, it was so popular, but do you know they actually have 51 apps before that, right? Which actually all fear, and nobody heard of this 51 apps. And before they come out with the 52nd, which is Candy Crush, and it took everybody by storm, right? And it's still continuing. I just saw some, they come out with new ones that, just to follow on to what was done before the success, right, on the previous success. So don't underestimate your mistakes and failures. They are there just for your learning lessons. Yes? Right. Next, number 4 is lack of seriousness. Okay, you see me putting in the inverted commas, right? Okay, seriousness doesn't mean that you be stern and then you cannot smile, you cannot have fun while you are doing whatever, pursuing whatever that is it that you want to pursue, right? And what it means that another word of seriousness, some people call it commitment, right? Lack of commitment, or some call it lack of ownership. Right. So I prefer to use the word seriousness in the sense that, because are you serious about it, and which we will talk about it later on also, right? And the thing is that sometimes we are not really serious about making it happen. We are not serious about starting that business. What happens is that we actually go by the herd instinct, HERD, right? That means whatever other people are doing, we just follow. People go into shares investment, we follow. People go into property investment, we follow. People go into start a business, we follow, right? So it's just, the fear of missing out. So we don't really want to do it. So you got to ask yourself this question as well, right? So how serious are you in these ventures, or how serious are you in the sense that in losing that weight, in getting yourself fit, in getting yourself healthy, in building that relationship? How serious are you, right? And some people just do for the sake of doing. That's why you need, they don't really, they're not serious about it. It doesn't matter whether it happens or not, right? They are not really affected by the result, so as to speak. This is a nice to have, but if you are serious about it in the sense that it's not a nice to have, but it's a must have for you, things start to be different for you. So when you don't have that seriousness, right? You don't have the commitment, you don't have the ownership, you are just doing it for the sake of doing it, you give up easily, right? I myself too, right? So there are times when I pick up something just for the fun of it, I just want to have an experience of it, just start dabble on it. There's nothing wrong with testing out, trying something new, a new venture experience. That's fine, great, go for it, right? But I'm talking about things that you really want to go for it, or so-called you want to go for it, but you give up too early, you give up easily, right? So you need to ask yourself whether are you serious about this matter, whatever it is that you want to pursue, right? Next is on the lack of clarity, right? And this lack of clarity is, which is also linked to the seriousness, right? Is actually on two particular things that I want to mention here. Is lack of clarity on your end goal. So what is it that you want to achieve at the end of the day when you embark on this journey, whether it's losing weight, whether it's starting your business, whether it's going for your deal, doesn't matter what it is. If you notice by now, sometimes I don't go into specific tasks in that sense, your specific objectives. So I always use losing weight, going to the gym, and starting your business, going for that promotion as an example, right? So whatever it is that you want to go for, what is the end goal that you want? Right? Don't do it for the sake of doing it. Don't do it because of herd instinct. Because everybody is doing it, so I want to do it. So I'm afraid, fear of missing out, so I do it. Right? So you have to be very clear on your end goal. Are you doing it for yourself or doing it for others? Are you doing it for because you just want to blend in with other people? You want to you want to make sure that you're just part of the group and you don't feel so awkward. But actually, deep down inside, you don't really want to do it. You don't even know why you're doing it, right? And which also the second thing is that you lack of clarity on why you start on the task, right? You don't have an end goal, you don't have an outcome that you want to achieve, you don't have a reason why you start on this embark on this journey or this venture that you want to do it. So you need to be very clear on that. Now, the next lack of, right, is then lack of strategy or actionables. So right now, let's say you are serious about it, you are clear on your end goal, and you have very clear on the reason why you start on your task, your ventures, right? But you have no strategy, you have no actionable, you don't know what to do next, you don't have your next step. This is where the competence skills comes in, right? All the technical skills, all the technicalities come in that sense. But before that, you have to be clear in your end goal and the reason, everything that I have mentioned earlier on, right? Now you don't have a strategy, you don't have an actionable, you don't go about blindly or like a headless chicken. You're just wasting a lot of your energy and you don't get results. And very soon you will just give up, right? You don't know what you don't know what to do, you don't know what you're doing, you don't ask for help, and at the end of the day, when you don't get results, it's very natural for human beings to give up, right? So you need some form of strategy or some actionables at some point, right? Next is you don't enjoy it, right? Yeah, it's also linked on, it's still on the earlier point about, if you do it, especially if you do it on a herd instinct, if you do it for the sake of doing, if you do it for the fear of missing out, and when actually you don't enjoy it at all, right, then, you will give up very soon because, you don't enjoy it and it's very normal for people to give up. Now, I'm not talking about, in everything that you do, there are certain things, there are certain parts of it that, is really something we don't like, it might be boring. So, for example, in terms of getting fit, going to the gym, right? Waking up at 5 a.m. or going to the gym, that it takes commitment. It does. That's why you need to be serious about it. If you're not serious about it, you will give up. Right, but we don't really enjoy the pain per se, right? Nobody likes to go through pain. Okay, maybe a certain special group of people like to go through pain. But the fact is that We don't really enjoy the pain, the process, but we might enjoy the benefits of it. Now, I'm talking about you don't enjoy it at all. You don't even want to look at the end result. Even the end result, you will not enjoy it. How many of us know that, if you go and exercise, you eat right, you exercise right, and you get a perfect body, you get your six pack, right? But the thing is that not everybody will enjoy the process of going to the gym, or restricting your own diet, really watching your diet. It takes discipline. So some people don't enjoy it, right? And if you enjoy your food more than enjoying going on diet, you will never go on diet, right? Get it? So you need to enjoy. Most of the time, it's an 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. 80% of the time, you must enjoy what you are this journey that you are embarking on, the whatever that you are achieving, whatever you are doing. 20% you may not enjoy it. There's, for example, in business, sometimes you have some administrative part that you have to do, but you don't really like to do it. That's fine. But there's 80%, you enjoy talking to people, solving people's problems. That's fine. That's great. So overall, you still enjoy it. But if it's the other way around, you don't enjoy it 80% of the time, and only enjoy 20%, then I think you are going to give up very soon, very, very soon, right? Okay, that's why people give up, in the sense that they don't enjoy it anymore. It's a chore, right? Next, this is very important, right? It's in terms of wrong mindset. And when you don't have the correct mindset, you'll find that you will give up very easily as well. Now, what do I mean by wrong mindset? Now, the very first and foremost, right, is in terms of wrong belief system. If you don't believe you can do it, you will not do it. Okay, you will not make it. You will give up, right? So you need to believe yourself, believe that you can do it, which is linked to the previous point of your doubts sinking, right? So you need to have the correct belief system. Sometimes some people start to think that they are not good enough. Maybe they are not meant to be. Things like that. So these are all the wrong belief systems which will make you give up easily. Now the next wrong mindset is on you focus on the wrong thing, right? Now what do I mean? You focus on why you didn't make it, or why you cannot make it, right? You start to say, and it's almost like finding excuses as well. And in the sense that I've heard so many people say that, because, of external factors, because the clients is like this, because the weather is no good, because the government is no good, because I don't have a good teammate, because I don't have money, right? You're focusing on why you cannot make it, or why you didn't make it in the first place, right? That's not the correct mindset. It's not that you can sort of look at it, but the thing is that you need to go beyond that and say, okay, what can I do about it, right? What other solution we can get around it? Remember the very first slide in the beginning, I talked about the perseverance is all about finding ways to get around the obstacle. So if it's really clients client's fault, so as to speak, or external factors like the legislation is not to your benefit, or you don't have good teammate, or your business partners sell you out, or somebody stab you in the back. In a way it is, but we just acknowledge the fact, but you just move on. You don't focus on that. You just focus on what can you do about it next time. You just be wiser next time. But you don't dwell on why you didn't or cannot make it. Trust me, the majority of people, right, they really dwell on why I cannot make it. And it's just a downward spiral from there on. Yes? Now, the next one is about a lot of people don't realize that sometimes what you're embarking on is a marathon, right? It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. Meaning what? Sometimes you need that stamina to keep going. And some people expect success to happen overnight, like tomorrow, or some even expect it to happen yesterday, right? It doesn't really happen. Most of the time, you need a certain amount of time for, just like a seed, right? A seed, SEED. It will have to, it will take some time before it grows into a small plant, and then grow onto a big tree, and then start to have fruits, right? It doesn't bear fruits overnight. Nothing happens overnight, seriously. Like I mentioned earlier on, a lot of people think that, it's so easy for us to speak, it's so easy to do this, for you guys to do this and that. You did not see the sweat, the tears, the heartache that we speakers put in, with the hard work behind it. The other day, somebody just told me that oh, it's easy for you, just go on stage and then speak. Actually, that's not true. The preparation work there's a lot of preparation work. And the thing is that we also realize that it's a marathon, right? When you realize that it's a marathon, you pace yourself firstly. Secondly, you don't get so frustrated when you don't see your fruits in 1 month's time or 3 months' time. Granted, there are some things that can happen earlier, faster, but most of the time it takes a while, right? But what you need to do is that just focus on the progression, just focus on doing the right thing, right? And we'll talk about that later on, right? So just realize at this point in time that people give up because they don't realize it's a marathon and they expect things to happen very quickly. And when that didn't happen, they give up, right? They say that, oh, it's not for me, right? This doesn't work. Oh, this is a scam. No, it's not. It's just that you give up too early, right? Okay. Now, I just want to clarify something before we go on. Now, many people don't like the term give up or quit. Some of you are thinking this thing, right? Thinking of the question, but sometimes, it really doesn't work out, right? Most of us, we don't like the term give up or quit. It makes us feel like a quitter, right? And make us feel like a failure, and it's like, we are useless, we are worthless, so we keep on going. Now, there is a time to know when to give up and walk away. There's a whole science and art to it. You check out our other video on this. But what I'm referring to here is that there seems to have a recurring pattern. Example, you start something but can't seem to hit your goal and you give up, right? You keep starting something new, you hit the wall and then you just give up, right? And you start a new venture again, start something new again, right? Meaning you are a great starter but not a great finisher. So how do you develop more perseverance? Right, here comes the best part, right? Okay, so there are 9 points I want to share on this one, right? Okay, so first and foremost, remember who are you doing it for, right? So whatever it is that you are doing now, whether you are aiming at every industry, for example, every industry has its own top 10%, right? So some of it called top producers, some in insurance called $1 million round table. They celebrate the top achievers in that sense. So every industry has its own, right? So the thing is that if you're going for that, for example, in that the pinnacle of your industry, remember, you've got to ask yourself, who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you doing it for your family, your loved ones, or are you doing it for to be an inspiration to others, or what is it? Who are you that you are doing it for? And always keep that in your mind. Who are you doing it for? Because along the way, remember I mentioned it's a marathon. Sometimes you can lose your vision and your goal, and you start wondering why am I doing this and all that. We'll talk about the why later on. But remember, sometimes we cannot find the why, you find the who. I find that who is ultimately who are you doing it for is the ultimate underlying principle and the motivation factor for everybody, right? Because sometimes you cannot find the why, but you can always find the who, right? So I always advocate, who are you doing it for? So always remember the group of people that you want to benefit. It could be yourself. It's fine. Don't worry about it, right? And you can't, in the airline, they always say put your oxygen mask first before you put on another one, right? Before help yourself before you help others. Now, it sounds so selfish, right? But seriously, it only because you are no good if you have fainted. People have to take care of you. So you must be strong. You have to be strong so that you can take care of others. The only thing is that when you are strong, don't be selfish, but have an abundance mindset and go and help other people, right? So remember, who are you doing it for? Now, number 2 is the common one that a lot of people always talk about it, which is, why are you doing it? Have a compelling reason, have a big why, and all that. All that is good. It's great. It can be, you used to be poor and you go hungry and you never like that feeling again. And it's a very common reason and scenario. I have many friends who are like that, right? And many of us, we come from humble background, and we don't want to go through that kind of life again. And we don't want our next generation to go through that either. And it's fine, it's great, right? And But what I noticed is that sometimes if you cannot find the compelling reason, because we are so blessed these days, right? And then find the who, right? So for me nowadays, what motivates me is really is really the world, the people, the outside world that who I want to help, right? Somebody who's watching this, you need this message, right? We'll talk about this later on, right? So remember, why are you doing it? Have a compelling reason. Have a big why. You know, it could be just getting out of poverty. You want to have a better life for your loved ones. You could be something as great as like you want to eradicate certain problem in the world. Great, go for it, right? And third is very important. Be honest with yourself, right? How much do you really want it? And what price are you willing to pay for it? Right? And when I say price, right, I don't necessarily just mean monetary wise, but what price for are you going, what sacrifice are you going to do for it? So how much sacrifice you're going to make is depends on how much do you really want it, right? Remember earlier on we talked about why do people give up is because they go by the hurt instinct. So when it gets too painful, when it gets too hard, when it gets too uphill, they give up because they realize they have to sacrifice a lot, and it could be as simple as sacrificing your sleep. Right? Yes, absolutely. There are times when you sacrifice your sleep, you sacrifice spending time with your loved ones, or just relax and all. Yeah, it could be things like that. It could be monetary as well. It could be anything, right? So you need to ask yourself this question. Now, this question of what price are you willing to pay for it? I learned it from Anthony Robbins, right? He actually, when I attended one of his programs, and he first thing he asked, what's your goal, right? And second thing he asked, what price are you willing to pay for it? And you know what? I never really think about that because I thought I would just do whatever it takes. But the thing is that when I really sit down, it made me realize that there are certain things that um, I gave up because I'm not willing to pay that amount. There's too much sacrifice. So, but there's the areas that where I'm so-called successful is because I'm willing to pay the sacrifice for it. I'm willing to sacrifice my time, my energy, my effort, my money on it, right? So, how much? Be honest with yourself. How much do you want this venture or project that you are embarking on, this journey you're embarking on? How much do you want to see it as being successful, right? Okay, how much? There you go. How much do you really want it? And what price are you willing to pay for it? Next, okay, acknowledge that there will be challenges. Yes, that we earlier on we mentioned, right? It's a marathon, right? Okay, and there will be challenges. We are not saying that it's going to be smooth sailing, right? We are talking about there will be challenges, and you need to acknowledge, and that's why people with perseverance, they know there will be challenges, there will be problems, there will be obstacles. That's why they are willing to in the first place I talk about finding different ways of handling the obstacle, the challenges, and whatever problems that come your way. So there will be, it's not smooth sailing, okay, right? Sometimes, yes, sometimes things can be simple, but it may not be easy. Sometimes there's always a learning curve, no matter how familiar you are with the project, with the topic that you're going on, right? Okay, so ask for help, right? So when you need, whatever you are doing, ask for help. You know your strengths and your weaknesses, and ask for people to help you and complement you in that sense. Now, ask for help also have another purpose, and that's for accountability as well. You can ask for help in terms of having an accountability buddy, right? Meaning that sometimes when you embark on a journey, sometimes you're on your own, right? For example, you want to go to the gym, you want to lose weight. Again, I use lose weight, right? You want to get healthier. Now, so no point making that promise to yourself. You ask for help in the sense that you tell your friend, can you be my accountability buddy? Because I'm going to the gym, say, this I'm going to start slow. This week I'm going once a week. Next week I'm going to twice a week, and finally my end goal is to go 3 times a week, right? So you ask for help in the sense that but you know that your weaknesses is it may be that you will just get lazy about it and all, because there's no accountability, right? So you ask a friend to be your accountability partner, tell them your plan, and and come up with, if you don't make it happen, if you fail to go to the gym as promised, the frequency that is promised, then you need to maybe buy the person a meal or something like that, or sing a song if you are afraid of singing a song, right? Or whatever it is. So you need to ask for help in terms of that. So in terms of complementing your weaknesses or in terms of accountability, right? Now, next is keep your eyes on the prize. Yes, that's why you must set out your. Now, you notice I never ask you to set your goal, right? I am just presuming you have already set your goal. You know what you want to do. This project, whether it's losing weight or starting your business or promotion, right? Right? Keep your eyes on the goal, on the prize, right? That you, at the end of the day, you are going to, if when you make it, right? Not if, when you make it, how joyous it's going to be, and it's just going to worth all the pain, all the sweat, and all the tears, right? So you need to keep your eyes on the prize. It's going to be worth it to overcome all the challenges and obstacles, right? Okay, so one way you can help to do that is that you really put vision, in front of your vision part always helps. If not, you just put whatever it is that in front of you that reminds you on what you are working on, okay, and who you're going to help and all. So just put something in front of you. It helps. The visual always help you, right? Next, it's very important. Review, okay, right? So a lot of people make this mistake. They keep on, right? But they don't review what their process or the method and all. Now, what do I mean by review? Now, the review means you look at what works and what can be improved. Remember, if you have been following me for a while, if you know me for a while, words are very powerful. Don't say what's right and what's wrong, okay? What can be improved. Now, it's more empowering. Your mind starts to turn to think differently when you look at the way you look at it as how can you improve rather than what's wrong, okay? Now, earlier on, we talked about so we talk about what's right and what can be improved. Now, since we talk about what can be improved, let's talk about mistakes and failures, which we mentioned earlier on. Now, the correct mindset about mistakes and failure is that they are lessons learned, right? So when you review, when you look at things that can be improved, you're bound to say, oh, this one, you made a mistake. Now, it means that what did you learn from there, right? Why is it that it doesn't quite work out the way you thought it is? And you learn the lesson, right? And remember, it's the lesson, it's the things, not you, right? You don't say that I'm a failure, right? What you did was failed, right? What you did failed. What you did not work out the way that you want. What you did not get the results that you want. But it doesn't mean you are a failure, right? It's two different things, yeah, right? Okay. So remember, review correctly, and have the correct mindset about mistakes and failures. Next is to take breaks, right? Take your break every now and then. I've seen people, right? They just go for it, full steam, right? That's what I did last time, and then just 24/7, 7 days a week and all. And the thing is that you can't really do that for a very long time. You get burned out, and you just start wondering what's going on, and you need to take a break. So take a break is partly because you need to let your body rest, let your mind rest as well. And when you take a break, right, you actually start to plan. You can plan better. You take a step back and think about, and have an overall view what's going on. So sometimes, even for exercise, I have my cheat days as well, right? And sometimes I allow myself to have a little bit of naughty food here and there, right? But the thing is that you need to take a break in that sense, because psychologically, if you keep going in this way, right, just go all the way, one day your mind, your brain will say enough is enough, and you backfire, and all things go loose, and you will start to throw tantrums, and you will start to say that you go back to the other extreme and say, I'm going to give up. This is too much, right? So you need to take breaks every now and then. Otherwise, you will run out of steam, and then it helps you to take a step back and blend as well. Now, last one I want to share is to celebrate your wins. Now, along the way, right, you will have. So we talk about mistakes and failures. Surely there are some things that work well. Surely something is good, right? Whatever, no matter what, how small, how big it is, when things work out, right? Okay, pat yourself on the shoulder and say, oh, well done. Even if no one pat you on the shoulder, tell yourself it's right, it's good, right? Carry on, you can do it, right? and send yourself a love note, encouraging note. Hey, that's good, right? And you need to anchor that in because it will help you later on to remember on your past victories as well, right? So you need to, no matter what, and you can celebrate wins on a very different thing. You can, just take half an hour, watch on YouTube, or just let your brain rest for a while, whatever it is, or go for something that your naughty food, your cheat food, right? Whatever it is, just go and celebrate your wins. It's very, very important. All successful people will tell you this is a must, right? Okay, now, so that's the 9 points that you need to take note of if you want to develop more perseverance. And you notice the title is called how to develop more perseverance, right? So the idea is that you already have perseverance, but you just need to have more. So notice the mindset is very different. You just need to have more. Now, lastly, what I want to leave you with is, if you cannot remember anything from this session, right, there are 3 things I want to leave you with, right? And firstly, is separate what you do from who you are. Now, what you did have failed, but it doesn't make you a failure. So just like what I mentioned about Einstein, always remember what Einstein said. He said that it's not that I have failed 10,000 times if I found 10,000 ways of not working, right? So that's a really great mindset, because not finding ways that discovering ways that are not working is just as important, right? Next time it will add on to your experience, right? Second thing I want you to remember is that every day you just need to be 1% better than yesterday, right? That's all you need to do. Don't A lot of people make the mistake of, I want to climb Mount Everest on day one, right? No, you start with a small mountain near your place first, right? From there, then you start going and you go higher and higher and higher, right? So just remember, you just need to be 1% better than yesterday. Which brings me my third point, which is focus on progression, not perfection, right? Once you keep going, progression, right? You keep improving, then you will know that and before you know it, it's so effortless, right? To the extent that you don't even realize it. You don't even realize you're going uphill, right? You don't even find that it's a chore or it's very hard. You will just keep on going, and you won't give up. Yes? And yeah, so these are the 3 things I want to share with you. If you cannot remember anything, that if it's there's too much. I know I've been told, right? I always add in a lot of things that it's sometimes some of you cannot catch in that sense. So it's so if you watch this video again, every time you watch this video, right, you'll find that you always learn something new, because learning is ongoing, right? There are many other ways to develop more perseverance. Such as drawing on your past victories is very important, or even go for exercise. Yes, partly because exercise produces endorphin, right? A hormone that makes you feel good. And when you feel good, you will find the energy to keep going. And also partly because when you push yourself physically, you are training yourself mentally as well. Every professional sports person will tell you at the end of the day, it's your mental muscle that push your physical muscle. Now, I remember when I was doing my marathon, it's 42 kilometers, right? Add to, I think, the last 7 kilometers or so, that every kilometer they have a one billboard to say how many kilometers have you achieved, and there's an inspiration, motivation quote for you. Now, I think it's about the last 7 kilometers, and it says, right, your legs have taken you so far, let your mind and your heart take you further. But by then, right, it's really, you need to just rely on your mind and your heart already. Now, in fact, it's basically, right, going for exercise is one of the easiest way for your brain to remember that whenever the going gets tough, the task gets going, right? So what other ways have you attempted and help you to build more perseverance? Put it in the comments box and let us know what are they. Now, this is a big topic, and we have many videos to expound in this area. Right, that's all I have for today. I trust that you have at least learned one thing today, and if you can internalize what we have shared here today, you will be one step closer to your destination. Many people have asked me, why am I speaking and doing training on the topic on people skills, right? It's because people skills is a very practical and important skill set. I would say it's a life-saving skill set. I know many of you are concerned about being replaced by technology and artificial intelligence. I totally believe that people skills is one skill set that will never be replaced by technology and artificial intelligence. You can learn about coding, cyber security, or whatever competent skills for your occupation. But these are technical skills that can get obsolete, and you will have to keep improving yourself in this area. Yes, they are important. I'm not knocking them down. But behind every hardware, software, non-living thing, there's a human being. This is what keeps me going because I know behind every camera, there is one person watching, learning, and needing this message. Now, it doesn't matter what business or what industry are you in, you are always dealing with people. And furthermore, let's face it, we are all social animals. We crave for the company of other people. This pandemic has shown us more so than ever with all this safe distancing, not able to gather with your families and friends, it has shown us that even with the best technology, it cannot replace the company of each other. So you might as well start learning how to deal with people, and the first person to start with is with yourself. So like, share, subscribe, and follow us in this journey of improving yourself. Right. So I'll see you in our next video. Take care. Bye.